Good afternoon, and welcome to the December 2022 Nutrition Support Monthly Call. This is Helen Folks, and I will be providing an overview of important updates for the Child Nutrition Program on today's Zoom. Please use the chat box feature to ask any questions, and the state agency team is going to be on standby to answer any questions that you may have. Today's agenda includes what's new in memos and resources, some important due dates, verification, 2022 NSLP equipment grant, the administrative review cycle, pandemic electronic benefits transfer and local level funding, school year 2022-2023 flexibilities, the transitional standards on milk, whole grains, and sodium final rule, the Medicaid demonstration project, and then lastly, some training updates. To start off our session, the next slides will cover what's new in memos and resources, as well as new training topics that should spark your interest. First up, I wanted to introduce that USDA's Joseph Templin is providing an overview and question and answer session on the Medicaid demonstration project and direct certification process for Louisiana during nutrition support office hours. This Zoom event will take place tomorrow, Wednesday, December 7th, from 1 to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. For access and a link to participate, please register online now through louisianafitkids.com. Go to training and meeting registration to complete that registration, and then you will actually receive an email with a link to join. Also, if you have any issues with the link that you receive, you can join directly by using the path that's listed on this slide. The Louisiana Department of Education training schedule for December 2022 has been posted in Memo SFS 23-2019. Please register for December trainings at louisianafitkids.com, which is linked on this slide. All training recordings and slides are posted within a week after the live presentation on the Louisiana Fit Kids website. In order to access that from the home screen, click on the training drop-down box and go to training slides. Let's go to just one moment. So all training recordings and slides will be posted. And let's just take a look on what is available in December for training schedule. So tomorrow, USDA is going to present the Medicaid direct certification and demonstration project. And this session and Q&A is hosted by Nutrition Support Office Hours on Wednesday, December 7th, 2022 at 1 p.m. The verification summary form that will be covered Tuesday, December 13th at 1 p.m. Small procurement and micro purchases will be covered Thursday, December 15th at 1 o'clock p.m. A training on the 2022 NSLP equipment grant was presented on Wednesday, November 30th, 2022. Details in the training included the opening of the grant application period, which did begin on December 1st, 2022, and ends on January 31st, 2023. So Louisiana was awarded 2 funding streams through the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2022 and the American Rescue Plan Act. The combined funding allocated to Louisiana totals $1,383,009 for the administration and distribution to eligible SFAs through competitive award. The grant includes improvement in key focus areas, including improving the ability to serve healthier meals, supporting scratch cooking, improving food safety, storing fresh food, upgrading equipment, and supporting the established maintenance or the expansion of the school breakfast program. SFAs may apply for up to 24,000 per piece of equipment and per eligible site. So remember that only one piece of equipment may be awarded per site request. So it is strongly encouraged that you apply for a piece of equipment that will make the greatest impact to your school system. I did want to mention that in terms of impact, you may want to look at some things that your system needs that are not maybe typical that you would request as part of this grant. For example, some people have inquired about generators as a backup system, things that will help during any kind of electrical outage or emergency or disaster situation. Also, monitoring systems. I always recommend equipment that can serve more than one use, like a combination oven that includes convection, steaming, and other features. Um, so please take a look at these different things that you may need and that maybe you didn't think of in the past, but with alternative services, these things have come to light. Also, it's a good idea to reach out to your managers and check to see if they do have specific needs for equipment that have kind of risen to the top and that will really greatly improve participation for your system. So for more information, please log into the CMP website, go to the Forms section under the title of the 2022 NSLP Equipment Grant, and click on the PowerPoint training for detailed instructions. I just want to remind everybody again, please go ahead and go in and apply now before the holidays hit. That way you can make sure that you meet the deadline at the end of January for application. So Memo SFS 23011, allowable and unallowable expenditures using CNP funds, covers a variety of expenditure types, an example of what's typically allowable and what is typically unallowable for the child nutrition program. Specific scenarios vary, and if in doubt, you would want to contact nutrition support for questions. It is a good idea to print this list and review the examples by category. The document is 8 pages in length and covers a variety of expenditure types. Remember that all expenditures must be necessary and reasonable for proper and efficient administration of the food service program and must conform to any limitation or exclusion set forth in program regulations. As a reminder, purchases greater than $5,000 for equipment or a capital expenditure would require pre-approval by the state agency. And the link to that form for submission to child nutrition programs at la.gov is at the bottom of this slide. So the next memo up covers new updates to the food buying guide for child nutrition programs. There is an interactive web-based tool and interactive mobile app. Among the new features are that first, new food yields are available for frozen cherries, frozen cauliflower rice, frozen diced carrots, frozen legumes like black-eyed peas, navy beans, and garbanzo beans, mini sweet peppers, and pearled farro. And second, the interactive web-based tool and mobile app now allows for exporting the favorites list, and it allows for a comparison of items in the list into Excel files. These Excel files can be saved for future use or emailed to assist in making purchases and in the preparation for meal production. Okay, in terms of eScholar Direct Match, there are uploads available for both SNAP and TANF for the months of October and November of 2022. Districts should resolve SNAP Batch 3861 and 4063, as well as TANF Batch 3860 and 4062. For assistance or questions related to these uploads, please contact Jane at the email that's listed on this slide. LDOE also ran the statewide Medicaid free lunch and Medicaid reduced lunch matches for all school districts, both public and non-public, for the month of October 2022. Districts should resolve any near matches in the batches listed below, which are Medicaid free lunch batch 3999 and Medicaid reduced lunch batch 3982. The next memo showcases the August 31st Team Nutrition webinar, Back to School Success with the Team Nutrition's Menu Planning Tools and Resources. Two versions of this webinar recording are available. One is English captioned with the link displayed on this slide, and the other is Spanish captioned, also with the webinar linked on this slide. This informational webinar highlights Team Nutrition's many tools and resources to enhance your knowledge of school menu planning and school nutrition operations. Hands-on activities are used to showcase the food buying guide for child nutrition programs, digital resources, and CN labels, product formulation statements, USDA standardized recipes, and USDA approved software, and much more. So viewers will gain knowledge of resources available to assist with school menu planning and school nutrition operations. The fiscal year 2023 Farm to School Grant Program request for applications is now open. Please see the fiscal year 2023 RFA on grants.gov for more information and to learn how to apply. The Community Food Systems Division is pleased to share the fiscal year 23 Farm to School Grant webinars presented on November 8th and November 9th, 2022. To view these webinars, click on the links below. The Community Food Systems Division is pleased to share this information and also would like to encourage you to apply. So some information that is included is getting familiar with the fiscal year 23 Farm to School grant. It is an overview and how to apply, and there's also getting your grant package together. And this goes over developing and writing a successful grant application. Last on the agenda for what's new is a notification to order Discover MyPlate in print form from Team Nutrition today. So child nutrition program operators can order free print materials to help kindergarten students discover MyPlate. This issue of Discover MyPlate is fun and inquiry-based nutrition education that fosters the development of healthy food choices and encourages a physically active lifestyle during a critical developmental and learning period for children in kindergarten. You can order these Team Nutrition print resources now, and I recommend you do so while supplies last. To access the order forms by topic, click on the English or Spanish links on this slide. There are emergent reader mini books available. Also, there are a variety of handouts available in both English and Spanish. These are great resources to enhance wellness outreach to the school community and wellness teams in your district. Topics include Welcome to School Lunch, Meet My Plate, Snack Time, Be Your Best with Breakfast, and Move, Play, Have Fun. Also, there are Look and Cook recipe cards and student workbooks. For questions about these resources, please contact Team Nutrition through teamnutrition@usda.gov. A summary of important due dates for December 2022 is next up for discussion. So in terms of verification, SFAs had up until November 15th to complete verification activities and collect the data for Part 1 of the verification summary report. Although this update is for December due dates, remember that the final summary and data on verification is due for online submission on January 10th, 2023. The verification report opened on the CMP website starting November 1st, so you can begin entering your verification summary information now. Final information will be due on January 10th, 2023, and will include a new area for reporting. SFAs that participate in district-wide CEP are not required to accept applications or complete the verification process, but must complete that verification summary form. New information reporting for the January 10th verification summary includes reporting on the Medicaid free enrolled students and Medicaid reduced enrolled students matched through the Medicaid demonstration and match project. The steps are detailed on the next slide. Register for the December 13th verification summary form training on the LouisianaFitKids.com site for detailed instructions on how to complete and submit the verification report, including the new Medicaid reporting data. The verification summary report includes several categories for reporting, so please take a look at this snapshot for basic instructions and steps required to complete the verification sections. While I'm not going to cover all of the sections for verification today, remember to register for that verification summary training. My intent today is to focus on Medicaid reporting. So the section that is new under number 4 is section M, and students directly certified with Medicaid. All SFAs are required to complete this section of the verification summary report. This screenshot shows how the Medicaid reporting section, named Section M, will appear in the verification summary report. M1 includes students directly certified with Medicaid. Under column A, SFAs will report the number of students directly certified for free meals, while under column B, SFAs will report the number of students directly certified with Medicaid for reduced meals. Moving on to health inspections, site health inspection reporting was due by the end of November 2022. If you haven't submitted health inspection dates in the CNP online application, please go ahead and do that now. Any health inspections completed should be reported by logging into the CNP website under the School Food Service tab. Go to the left green sidebar and choose Site Health Inspections. For detailed instructions on how to complete the form, click Site Health Inspections for a drop-down list. The top option for review is Instructions and will guide you on how to complete the health inspection date entry for submission to the state agency. As a general reminder to all SFAs, if you haven't already notified your local sanitarian or the Louisiana Department of Health in writing to inform them of the school sets that require 2 health inspections every year for participation in the child nutrition programs, please send that information now, and you'll want to keep that information on file for administrative review procedures. Meal denials should be reported on the CMP website prior to the end of December 2022. In order to access online reporting, log into the CMP website, go to the School Food Service tab, and at the top right corner of the page, click on the Meal Denial tab on the left green sidebar. For detailed instructions on how to submit meal denials, use the link on this page for access. Monitoring is a hot topic right now with USDA and in administrative reviews in terms of accountability. Monitoring is where school site accountability needs can be identified and training for corrections can be planned, provided, and documented. In absence of the many waivers available for the pandemic, CMP operators should ensure that school administrators, child nutrition program managers, and staff are aware that the program requirements are more or less back to business as usual, with regular program requirements in place. Meal counting and claiming, including point of service procedures, should be carefully reviewed at the site levels to ensure that child nutrition program managers and staff are understanding the accountability and requirement procedures, especially for the point of service. Be sure to take note of alternative procedures in place, such as for in-house detention, breakfast in the classroom, and grab-and-go services. Adults outside of school food service workers should pay the adult price for meals, meaning employees pay the employee price for meals, and guests of any age at the school pay the at-cost price for meals. As a reminder, school breakfast, lunch, and after-school snacks must be consumed on site, which is the meaning of congregate feeding. While off-site consumption of meals was routine during the pandemic, this is no longer an allowable practice. Every school year prior to February 1st, each school food authority with more than one school, including RCCIs, must perform no less than one on-site review of the meal counting and claiming system and the readily observable general areas of review in each school operating the National School Lunch Program and at least half of the schools operating the school breakfast program. Each on-site review must ensure the school's claim is based on the counting and claiming system as implemented and yields the actual number of reimbursable free, reduced price, and paid meals respectively served for each day of operation. For CEP schools and systems that utilized SSO in the past, please ensure that principals, managers, and school food service staff understand that while students may be encouraged to participate in school meals, they must not be required to take a meal. Although CEP meals are free to all students in participating schools, and SSO allowed for free meals to students as part of pandemic waivers and flexibilities, this practice was never an allowable practice. However, there has been some confusion at the school sites in returning to more typical operations, so we wanted to make sure that was clear and understood. In addition to our typical December deadlines, the state agency urges all SFAs to check the meal charges reported in the online application. This includes reduced and paid student meal charges as well as at cost and employee meal charges. Please log into the CMP website to check the accuracy of the meal charges to be sure they match what you are actually using at the point of service. If changes are needed, please submit a revision with the meal price corrections for the Schedule A in the School Food Service online application. The state agency is required to report on meal charges for the state of Louisiana annually and must have accurate data for reporting. In addition, the accuracy of meal charges in the Schedule A and online CMP agreement is subject to audit during the administrative review process. So it's always a good idea to check to make sure that there were no changes due to board meetings or adjustments at the beginning of the school year. Now is the time to make corrections if needed so that everything matches what your system is actually charging for meals. Now, here's a snapshot of the December 2022 important due dates. A full list can be found under Resources on the Child Nutrition Program website and is linked in the title of this slide. Revisions to the School Food Service online applications brings us to our next topic, which is SFA comments on application revisions. The state agency IT group is providing a new feature that allows CMP supervisors to comment on any SFS online application revision submitted to the state agency. So prior to submission, you will see this box pop up and you will be required to make a comment before moving forward. So please be specific regarding what changes you made and why those changes are needed. The advantage of your comments appearing for the state agency review will be that it speeds the state agency review process for approving online application revisions. It also allows the state agency to target areas for review and questions to ensure the accuracy of revisions. And last, we really like to make sure that the changes are reflective of what the intention of the child nutrition program supervisor was that actually made the revision so that what you did we will implement in that application. SFAs will be prompted to enter comments in the blue portion of the revision justification box pictured at the top left side of this slide. Comments will be saved and time and date stamped. Additional comments may be added as needed. These comments will appear on the state agency review screen at the top and will allow for a streamlined communication method and a quick review of changes to speed the approval process. This error message that's pictured on the at the top right of this slide will appear to remind an SFA to enter comments justifying the need for a revision to the online application and to describe the intended changes. Note the area in red that explains why the error message occurred. that will direct you as to where the issue is that can be resolved for the successful submission of the application revision. Okay, next up are reminders about the online application and claim submissions. Please ensure that your online application has been approved and that you are up to date with claim submissions. If you have a correction to submit to your online application, please make sure to submit any outstanding claims prior to submitting a revision. Once a revision is submitted, it must be approved by the state agency before you will gain access to the claims again, so pay attention to those deadlines. The 60 calendar day deadline for claim submission is still in place. A one-time exception is allowed only once every 36 months or 3 years if a claim is past the 60 calendar day time frame. So this one-time exception is not something that you want to have to use. So please be mindful of claim deadlines. Also, update and make corrections to the CMP online application whenever changes occur or as needed. The CMP online application is considered a live document that should be updated periodically during the year when any new information, changes, or corrections may come to light. Next up, we're going to talk about administrative review scheduling and revisions. SFAs that were scheduled for an administrative review between November 14th and the end of the year should have received an email from CN Resource stating that their review was canceled. The change in the schedule is because the administrative review contract ended on December 19th. The administrative reviews that were previously canceled will be rescheduled, and a revised schedule will be posted to the CMP website. In terms of summer 2022 PEBT eligibility, all students in K through 12 schools were eligible if they qualified for free or reduced price meals and were in school in May 2022. So eligible children received a total payment of $391 to cover June and July. And those payments were issued in 2 installments. Benefits were issued beginning in late summer and into the autumn months and will be issued on the same card that was received for the 2021 or 21-22 school year. For more information about summer PEBT eligibility and more frequently asked questions, please visit the DCFS website that is linked on this slide. On October 13th, 2022, the Secretary of Health and Human Services officially extended the COVID-19 public health emergency for another 3 months, which means it's now valid through January 11th, 2023. This means that there will likely be more PEBT benefit information provided in the coming months. In terms of eligibility requirements for PEBT, they included students who attended school at least one day in May 2022, students whose school they attended in May participated in CEP in school year 21-22, or qualified for free or reduced price meals under the National School Lunch or School Breakfast Program. This includes students who received PEBT benefits during May 2021, including those who graduated. Students who were eligible for free or reduced price school meals under the NSLP or SBP in school year 21-22 or attended a CEP school in May are also eligible. Again, children who were determined newly eligible for free or reduced price meals, including those who submitted free or reduced price lunch applications by close of business Friday, July 29th, 2022. These students are eligible for those PEBT benefits. And now, while this may seem like it's old, we still do get a lot of questions at the state agency. So that's why I continue to cover this particular topic. All federal benefits issued, including PEBT by DCFS, have a 9-month time limit for use. The timer is reset to 9 months each time a purchase is made. Families were sent letters to inform recipients that they have benefits that will soon expire. So if a family makes a purchase using the PEBT card, the timer is reset. If they don't, any remaining benefits will be lost. However, the card and the case are still active, and any future benefits will be added to their card with with the same 9-month time limit. Okay, so in terms of support, this is just some helpful information. There's a data manager toolbox. There's some helpful links, including the PEBT website, the parent portal, the LA Cafe login, and also there's some contacts, including some support for support responses at DCFS. There is a link here on the slide, and there's a DCFS help desk for parents. There's a phone number here for DCFS help desk, and also a phone number for EBT card center. We will continue to hold office hours each Tuesday at 10 a.m., and there's a link for that as well. In addition to benefits awarded directly to families, USDA has made funding available to all operators for the National School Lunch Program and the National School Breakfast Program. This responsible for activities related to fiscal year 22 state pandemic electronic benefit transfer. Fiscal year 22 PEBT are all PEBT activities that occurred between October 21 through September 22 in conjunction with PEBT benefits issued for school year 21-22 and summer 22. So LDOE will award a specified dollar amount to all eligible entities based on the number of PEBT eligible children. And this was the same process that was utilized for fiscal year 21 PEBT local level funding. Eligible program operators were and will not be required to submit an application to receive the funds. The state agency receives additional information probably in the next couple of months and will convey that information by email blast and memos. So in terms of flexibilities for school year 22-23, they are limited, and we will take a look at that in the next slide. Flexibilities available for school year 22-23 include paid lunch equity, and this waives the paid lunch equity requirements for school year 22-23. And it also pertains to the school lunch prices for school year 22-23. In terms of carryover eligibility for the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program, this allows schools that operated SSO in school year 21-22 to use the most recent free or reduced price determinations since school year 19-20 during the 30-day carryover period of school year 22-23. And it's also effective for the carryover period of school year 22-23. Severe need reimbursement rates for the school breakfast program and the 2-cent differential reimbursement for the National School Lunch Program in school year 22-23 and 23-24 are covered in the memo referenced on this slide. Note that this memo includes information on how severe need eligibility determinations are currently made due to participation in SSO by many SFAs over the pandemic years. So next up, let's talk a bit about transitional meal pattern standards. On February 7th, 2022, USDA published the Transitional Standards Final Rule, which went into effect on July 1st, 2022. The transitional standards provide a 2-year time frame for implementation of standards and flexibility until permanent meal pattern standards can be designed. Looking forward, please be aware of opportunities for comment periods on upcoming rules over the 22-23 and 23-24 school years. Your input will be critical in communicating the challenges and successes experienced during the transitional period in order to affect the development of the USDA Child Nutrition Program permanent meal pattern standards. The slide posted here shows a summary of transitional standards, including flexibility to provide 1% flavored milk, a marginal decrease planned for sodium for lunch only as a target 1A standard for school year 23-24, and a standard for whole grains of ensuring that at least 80% of the whole grains provided over the course of a week are whole grain rich. For references on transitional meal pattern standards, please see the memo, which is listed on this slide, for more information on the transitional rule. The slides and video from the transitional standards training is posted on the Louisiana Fit Kids site, which is also posted and linked on this slide. USDA's milk tip sheet is designed for program operators as a handy and easy to use reference on how to credit milk into the meal pattern requirements. So in terms of availability, everyone is welcome to download these materials and make copies. To download the file, please right-click on the link on this slide. And in order to save it to your desktop, you can just do a save link as and save it for future use. To assist in making decisions regarding whole grains in the child nutrition programs, the Whole Grain Resource for the National School Lunch and School Breakfast Program has been revised. This version includes considerations for the 2022 final rule for child nutrition programs in light of the transitional meal standards. This guide provides examples of various grain products often served in schools and walks the user through the process of determining whether products are whole grain rich, creditable as enriched, or not creditable. So this next memo reminds us of the requirement of the Buy American provision when purchasing fresh and processed agricultural products. Lettuce is normally grown in sufficient quantities in the United States at a reasonable price. As many are aware, there is a shortage of domestically grown lettuce, particularly romaine and iceberg lettuce. If the lettuce shortage is affecting the purchase of the domestically grown product, make sure that your distributor or food service management company has requested an exception and received approval from the SFA to use a non-domestic product at least 14 days in advance of delivery. This can be accomplished by submitting a Buy American certification form for the domestic product that is not available. Next up is information on the Medicaid demonstration project for 22-23. So circling back to Medicaid matching, Louisiana has been one of the 8 states selected to participate in the demonstration project to evaluate the impact of using Medicaid eligibility data to directly certify students for free and reduced price school meals. And that began this school year and continues throughout school year 22-23. So as part of this process, state agencies match school enrollment data with Medicaid eligibility data to identify children who receive Medicaid or live with a child who receives Medicaid and whose family income before expenses and deductions does not exceed 130% of the federal poverty level for free school meal eligibility or 185% of the federal poverty level for reduced price meal eligibility. So please make a special note that not all children receiving Medicaid will receive free or reduced meals because it is based on income eligibility. Due to differences in household definition and income assessments between programs, some children directly certified for free for reduced price meals through Medicaid may have been eligible for free meals if the household applied. So in this instance, USDA requires that these households receive notice of the income level used and be offered the opportunity to apply if their income, based on the National School Lunch Program eligibility policies, is within the limit for free meals. So under the Medicaid demonstration, children are not considered to be categorically eligible and may be directly certified only via an automated data matching process with the Medicaid eligibility records. Therefore, households are not allowed to handwrite their Medicaid case number on the application or provide proof of Medicaid in order for their child to be eligible for free or reduced price meals. Students eligible for free or reduced price meals based on an application or direct certification with another program cannot be negatively impacted by the match with Medicaid data. If an SFA has determined that a child is directly certified as reduced price eligible through a Medicaid match, and the child is determined to be directly certified through SNAP, TANF, or FDPIR, or identified as homeless, runaway, enrolled in a federally funded Head Start program, or as a foster child, the LEA's free direct cert determination supersedes the Medicaid reduced price status. So there's going to be some additional information during tomorrow's webinar. So please register for the USDA presentation on Medicaid at louisianafitkids.com and join us at 1:00 p.m. tomorrow during nutrition support office hours. Next up is supply chain assistance funds, and I'm going to cover a second and third allocation. So Louisiana received an additional $15,954,177 in second allocation supply chain assistance funds to enhance local school districts' ability to purchase foods for school meals by offering resources needed to address supply chain challenges directly to schools and school districts. These funds, in addition to any unspent funds from the March payments, will support School Food Authority operations in school year 22-23. Supply chain assistance funding can be used by school districts to purchase unprocessed and minimally processed domestic foods such as fresh fruit, milk, cheese, frozen vegetables, and ground meat. This payment had an issuance date of October 3rd, 2022. The funds have been allocated to schools based on student enrollment with a minimum amount per district to ensure that small schools aren't left behind. For audit purposes, the reference used for this payment was fiscal year 23 SCA, and the header text was F&S Supply Chain Assistance. Payment amounts for the second allocation of funds are included in Memo SFS 23-004. The funds have been allocated to schools based on student enrollment with a minimum amount per district to ensure that all schools are included. The SCA payments did include that reference and reference FY23 SCA and the header text of F&S Supply Chain Assistance. And this is noted in the LA Gov payment system. SFAs are required to maintain documentation supporting food purchases that are allowable for SCA purposes and must be equal in amount to the amount received, consistent with the regular program record-keeping requirements. However, SCA funds deposited into the nonprofit school food service account do not need to be separated from other monies within the account and are not tracked separately from an accounting standpoint. The CFDA number is the same as the program CFDA number, which is NSLP 10.555. Because the underlying conditions fueling supply chain disruptions and other economic uncertainty remain significant in many parts of the country, FNS is providing an additional $471.5 million in SCA funds. State agencies will distribute this third round of SCA funding to eligible school food authorities using the same formula used to distribute the first and second allocation of funds. Much like the second allocation of SCA funds, these funds remain limited to the purchase of unprocessed or minimally processed domestic food products. So more information is going to be provided on this third allocation at a later date. For resources on supply chain assistance, please refer to the following resources for more information. So I have a few things listed on this slide, including second allocation of supply chain assistance funds, which was issued in USDA Memo SP 1502. There are some USDA questions and answers regarding supply chain assistance funds linked on this slide. And then the slides and recording from the March 10th SCA training posted on the LouisianaFitKids.com website. Next up is procurement and food service management company allowable costs. Emergency procurement provisions in place during the height of the pandemic are no longer in place. So please be reminded to follow regular procurement provisions and to follow and update your school year 22-23 procurement plan where needed. As a reminder, on May 31st, 2022, Governor John Bel Edwards signed House Bill 221, Act 204 into law. This act increases the micro purchase threshold from $10,000 to $30,000 and the small purchase threshold from $30,000 to $60,000. The effective date was August 1st, 2022. And Act 204 states that all purchase of any materials or supplies exceeding the sum of $60,000 to be paid out of public funds shall be advertised and let by contract to the lowest responsible bidder who has bid according to the specifications as advertised. If you have specific questions about these new guidelines or the thresholds, please feel free to contact the state agency or email us at childnutritionprograms@la.gov. Now, these thresholds have been updated in the school year 22-23 procurement plan prototype, which is available on the Child Nutrition Program website under the Forms section. Now, the state agency has noted that some food service management companies have been charging fees to SFAs outside of allowable expenses. Please be reminded that the Child Nutrition Program Food Service Management Company contract is strictly a mealtimes rate contract. Now, this is referenced in several areas, including the scope of and purpose area of the food service management prototype contract. The charge to the SFA sponsor for food service management contract fees is to be clearly identified in the proposal. Fees imposed by a food service management company contract outside of this may not be paid for with child nutrition funds. So just make sure that your food service management company contract is following this, and it's something that needs to be audited on a regular basis. The USDA Food and Nutrition Service is excited to announce that the 2023 Child and Adult Care Food Program and Summer Food Service Program participant area eligibility data are available now. At the start of every fiscal year, FNS releases a special tabulation of data provided by the Census Bureau for CFP and SFSP that establishes area eligibility in CACFP and SFSP. These dates are effective as of October 1st, 2022, and the FNS mapping tools have also been updated to reflect the new data. To see the map and FNS Open Data site, please use the link on the slide. To learn more about using census data for establishing area eligibility in CACFP and SFSP, please see our policy memorandum SP 08-2017 regarding area eligibility in child nutrition programs, which was issued December 1st, 2016, and is linked on this slide. Next up for presentation is a mandatory USDA supply chain survey. As an overview, the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Food and Nutrition Service is conducting a web survey of all SFAs that operate the child nutrition program, and they need your input. The survey seeks to collect information on the continued challenges SFAs are facing due to ongoing food and labor supply chain disruptions, as well as in terms of ways in which the transition to standard operations is impacting student participation in child nutrition programs. Your feedback and participation in the survey is going to be vital to providing FNS information that they need to support school districts during this difficult time. So please take advantage of your opportunity to share experiences from this school year and communicate the specific issues you are facing in your community directly to FNS. You should receive a link to the survey soon if you haven't already. And the survey has a maximum of 31 questions and is estimated to take approximately 20 minutes to complete. While we're on the topic of supply chain issues, the recording of the September 26th Program Monitoring and Operational Support Division webinar, Supply Chain Assistance Best Practices for State Agencies and School Food Authorities, is now available for all school food authorities. The webinar is linked on this slide. Now, I noticed in the chat box that someone mentioned that we've been mentioning the supply chain assistance survey for a while. Now, we haven't received notifications from SFAs that this has gone out yet, but we do want you to be on the lookout to receive a link, and we will let you know when they're going to be issued according to updates that we receive from USDA. I would like to extend my thanks to Mac Williams with LDAF for providing updates to include in the C&P monthly update on USDA foods, and in an effort to keep C&P operators informed on supply chain disruptions and access to USDA foods, LDAF has provided the following information. Based on current forecasts, LDAF reported that an adequate supply of canned fruits and vegetables will be available based on existing orders through December 2022. Starting January of 2023, it is expected that SFAs will realize a decrease in volume of canned fruits and vegetables available based on USDA food requests. This decrease in availability is a result of the Agricultural Marketing Service, or AMS, having to cancel truckload purchases. And these cancellations are due to a variety of issues, including disruptions in supply, labor, packing material, and availability, or a combination of all three. So please be assured that LDAF is putting forth their best efforts to find viable substitutes to provide to SFAs, but options are limited at this time, and availability, unfortunately, is slim for alternative foods. For any additional questions or information, contact Doug McKean, and his email address is listed on this slide. So I did receive an update that certain districts are starting to receive the survey on supply chain assistance funds. And it appears that it isn't terribly lengthy or difficult to complete. So please be on the lookout. You may be receiving that survey soon. All right. So in terms of any other questions that you may have, please contact the Department of Education, Division of Nutrition Support at Child Nutrition Programs at la.gov, or by calling 225-342-9661. And as a reminder to everyone, nutrition support office hours are scheduled for 1 p.m. tomorrow. Please log in. Um, Go ahead and log in at the louisianafitkids.com website to register for that meeting. And I will be having to get off of this Zoom. There's a Festival of Flavors Zoom meeting coming up next that will be started in just a few minutes. So please, I will actually respond to some of these questions coming through the chat over email. And I thank you to everyone for your time and your attention.